we have seen. Start.
लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती श्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़कर गिरना, गिरकर चढ़ना ना करता है। आखिर उसकी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। असफलता एक चुनौती है, इसे स्वीकार करो। क्या कमी रह गई देखो और सुधार करो। जब तक सफल न हो नींद चैन को त्यागो तुम, जंग का मैदान छोड़कर मत भागो तुम। कुछ किए बिना ही किसी की जय जयकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, कभी हार नहीं होती, कभी हार नहीं होती।
Good morning, KHS. This is RJ Sanya.
And this is RJ Archit.
And you are listening to Buzz KHS 26.6.
आज का दिन हमारा, आज की आवाज हमारी। What? Wait. अजून एक चॅप्टर वाचले मला.
ओ बुकवर्म, आत्ताच तर परीक्षा संपल्या, लगेच काय अभ्यास?
हो का? How much did you score in geometry?
But marks are not life, yaar. Isn't your life have any fun, adventure at all?
ए, तेरे लिए ठीक है, but dude, exams are an adventure. At least for me. पेपरच्या आदल्या दिवशी अभ्यास करून मस्त मार्क्स मिळवण्यात काय थ्रिल असते.
जर तुला ॲडव्हेंचरची एवढी हौस वगैरे असेल ना, तर ट्रेक वगैरे काहीतरी करत जा. नुसतं घरात काय बसून राहतोस?
ए, तू असं काय भारी करतेस ग?
बरं झालं आठवण केलीस. For those who don't already know, I have formed a club known as Grip Adventures.
Grip Adventures? What's that?
I have lots of friends who want to travel, roam around the city, explore. पण आजकाल कोणाचे पेरेंट्स त्यांना एकटा सायकलिंग किंवा ट्रेकिंगला सोडतात ना?
I know, right?
So I have formed Grip, where I take people with me for cycling, trekking, or maybe even road running for weekends.
And how can you join the club?
Very simple. If you see me in the corridors, say, "Hey Sania, तुझं ते club वगैरे काहीतरी आहे ना? I want to join." You can even text me for the same.
When does it start anyways?
Oh, it already has. But I request all interested viewers to get ready for a fun-filled event on the 14th of August.
So this Monday, I'm in.
Oh yes, and don't forget to like my Facebook page known as Grip Adventures and stay tuned for more updates about this event.
प्रमोशन झालं, मुद्द्यावर यायचं का आता आपण?
Okay, ठीक आहे.
पण चल, तुझ्या लाईफ मधलं ग्रेटेस्ट ॲडव्हेंचर काय असेल?
Actually, no, scaling Mount Everest has always been my dream.
In that case, I would like you to meet somebody who knows how it feels like to be on the top of the world, literally top of the world, and I'm not joking.
Oh, really?
Yes, she is the first person from Maharashtra to scale Mount Everest. She has defeated all odds and has broken free from social constraints. She is none other than Aparna Prabu Desai, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Sam.
Welcome to Buzz KHS 26.6.
Thank you for inviting me.
It is so delighted to have you here.
I'm happy to be here too. Thank you.
So when we heard that you were coming to our show, we started reading about you. So we came across that you've been participating in marathons and other such activities.
Yes.
So when did this interest for adventure develop?
So interest for adventure, I think it was before. It was probably a necessity in my case. So I'm not a sports person. I'm very impressed when people look at sport. I have never been a sports person. So that I know comes as a surprise, but I've been sports averse because I'm dirt averse. Okay, and sports don't play the real that way. So I have always stayed away from sport. However, I needed to. So I think the universe intended different for me, and I got pushed into this. But the journey began in 2012. So it's been about 5 years now that I'm in this field.
So you're still doing, you're still taking?
Oh yes, you can't stop. Unfortunately, now that you're here, you know it's that pida that bites you, and you have to keep going back. The mountains are an addiction, and the minute I'm back, I'm already planning saying when do I come back. So yes, it happens all the time.
That's really adventurous. Ma'am, you had some medical issues. What more can you tell us about them and the challenges you faced? And how you overcame them?
Okay, so I think the issues, yes, did exist, and I would rather not talk too much about those because all of us have different challenges in life, different medical challenges sometimes. And for me, the bottom line of it was I was told by doctors that I would not be able to walk without support. And that meant, a lot of dependency. And I had a choice of being dependent and continuing like that, or I had a choice of doing something different. And that's when I chose to be different. I said, I'm going to do this differently. And if building strength, muscle, bone is what is needed, then that's what I will do. And that's what I've done.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. अब कुछ ऐसा करते हैं जिससे हमारा जोश और बढ़ जाए.
हाँ क्यों नहीं? It's time for our next segment. नया साज, नई आवाज.
With Jay and Pancham as the singers.
Mridmay and Sanika as the singers.
Arushika on the guitar.
And Kenneth Amaralian on the drums.
चल रही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया सारे चमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया रास्ता है तेरा अपने दिल ने तुम्हें कोई नहीं तुझसे ये रास्ता है तेरा अपने दिल ने तुम्हें कोई नहीं ये बेताबी से मुलाकात होती है जिसका कब से अरमाना शायद वही बात होती है चला जीवन गाड़ी में समय लगेगा आंसू की रंगा भी है जो दुनिया भी है रास्ता तू तेरा सके गया चला कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया सारे चमेले देख फूलों के मेले बड़े रंगीन है ये दुनिया देखो जिधर भी आँखों में रंग से हंसे हैं राहों में, ठंडी हवा है ठंडी छाँव है, दूर वो जाने किसका गाँव है। बादल ये कैसा छाया, ये कहाँ ले आया, सपना ये क्या दिखलाया मुझको।
लगे जो बेमगन चले, जो रात को चले अपने माने की, किसी से मोती की तुझने, जो तू सदा सुने अपने माने की।
चला चला ही कितनी हसीन है ये दुनिया, तुझ सारे जमाने में ये मेरे बड़ी रंगीन है ये दुनिया।
Wow. Wow, what a performance. Wow, what a performance. पण काय रे संजीव, तुला गाणं आवडलं का?
Obviously, this song is my all-time favorite.
So this is RJ Devati.
And this is RJ Sanjeev.
And you are listening to
Buzz KHS 26.6. आज का दिन हमारा, आज की आवाज हमारा.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
By the way, Sanjeev, adventure comes with a lot of risks. So in order to keep you motivated, we need a strong support system of people.
Yeah, that's true. But Revati, do you know Sherpas are?
Of course, they are the people who live in the foothills of Himalaya and like the mountaineers who climb the mountains. Now, if I'm not wrong, you visited the Everest base camp in 2014.
13 actually. Yes.
So, when exactly did you decide to stay in Everest?
So 2013, when there's a place called Kalapatthar, which is exactly opposite Everest, and it's a well, I can call it a hill because it is an individual hill, and it's opposite Everest. Everyone wants to climb it because it gives you an opportunity to see the sunrise. And as I climbed up and reached the top, it's quite difficult because you've got minus temperatures already hitting you. And somehow I struggled out. It was the start of my journey. I was still struggling. And when I went up, and I looked at Everest across, I was obviously almost the last person to reach. And looking at the mountain there, I put out that intent. This was, the May of 2013. I put out that intent and I requested the mountain saying, 2017 summer, allow me to come back. And that is when I put that request to the mountain, saying, please give me this permission to come back. Because finally it's the mountain that decides. And also for the reason that I want to walk, but I can show to the world that I will reach the highest place on the earth. And that's where the journey began.
Ma'am, what we're really curious to know about is that did you have a team with? As you said earlier, that you need a strong support system. So what role does a team play in performing such an amazing feat of climbing Mount Everest?
I think teams, as we all know, team is an acronym word. It says together everyone achieves more. Right? And that's what a team is. So a team is needed everywhere. The Sherpas that you guys just talked about are in fact the backbone of Himalayan climbing. These are guys who are from Nepal. So while I went up from China side, we still had mainly Sherpas who came with us. Of course, unless someone is climbing, so in mountaineering, there's something called alpine climbing, where you climb without a Sherpa, you climb without support, sometimes you climb without oxygen. Okay, so that is alpine style. You do your own. But for most common climbers, and I'm a very common ordinary climber that way, we need the shapers. You need a team. You need people who will be at base camp and they will coordinate for you. You will need people. Just knowing that there's someone back there who knows where you are on the mountain is a big help because that keeps you going. Saying, God forbid, if I die on this mountain, at least there's somebody who knows I'm there. If you're on Everest, they don't bring you back, so they're going to leave you back. But on other mountains, that team matters because you know that someone's there to bring you back. So the team, I think, and that team is not just on the mountain. My team has been my people back home who've watched out for me. My team has been here who've, people say, wow, you have Facebook on Everest, you are up there. And I said, then the team had to say, listen, there is no internet there. This is two people sitting here in Pune who are managing a page called Aparna Everest, and that's how the world gets to know what's happening. But they are the team as well. My family and my friends are my team as well. So I think nothing can be done alone. You need somebody with you all the time.
And so how exactly was your bonding with the Sherpas and the other members?
So Sherpas, I think my other climbing partners, very honestly, I could not get such a fantastic bonding because these were children. And when I say children, I mean kids. The youngest was 18, the oldest was 22. They're still younger than my inner child. So, I felt ancient, old, relic, all of that. I worked better with the Sherpas because in my preparation for the mountain, I had spent time in learning Nepalese as a language. So I could connect with them. They were happy because I spoke Nepalese. I could understand the part of Telugu, which is where the team was from Andhra, and but I couldn't speak any of it at all. I spoke Gujarati. The team doctor is a Guju, so Anand was a Gujarati. So I could manage to get by, but I connected very well with the Sherpas, and I connected with a lot of foreigners who were there because I could speak with them. Yes.
Thank you. Revati, do you know that adventure is not just restricted to trekking or mountaineering? Bungee jumping, deep sea diving, parachuting, paragliding are also adventure.
Yeah, I agree. Now we have a lot of adventure spirits in our school. So let us invite Disha to take us to the thrill of deep sea diving.
Wow, she's great.
Good morning, everyone. I was 12 years old when I experienced my first dive in the ocean. And since then, I remain a passionate sea diver. I was fortunate to experience the submarine world 7 times in 7 different countries. India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Mauritius, and Maldives. But my most unforgettable dive was along the Indian coast of Thailand. It was my first dive, and I had never been so scared of anything before. Timidly, I took a 3-day training where they taught me to breathe underwater, and surprisingly, it's a lot harder than we imagined it would be. Although the training made me confident enough to jump in the vast ocean, my heart was throbbing crazy as I jumped into the water. Describing the paradise that I saw is unimaginable. You can only capture it in your eyes. I remember the crystal clear turquoise waters, the sunrise glistening through the dark leaves as a school of yellow-tailed zebrafish swam past me. I fed them a piece of bread and they quickly swam back to their colorful pools. I was literally feeling every breath I took. I felt butterflies in my stomach as I swam in search for another pool. Reaching a certain depth, I found it difficult to breathe, but just in time, one of my teammates gestured that it was too risky to swim any further. So we swam back to the boat. And my first dive came to an end. I became a more confident sea diver when I led a team of 10 swimmers in a dive in Thailand. Deep sea diving is data meditation like anything else. This experience changed me as a person, and I think every person should have this experience with them. Thank you. Wow, that sounds really exciting.
Bona, after listening to such a beautiful experience by Isha, I feel like diving into the deep sea of Uzbekistan.
What? Uzbekistan? Oh, you mean Mauritius? Now I understand why you fail in geography.
Enough jokes at my expense.
So anyways, the next question we would like to ask you is that in order to take such a difficult expedition, you must have gone through rigorous training processes. Like you said, like building. So exactly what is this training?
So I haven't had a coach of any kind. However, I did follow a systematic path. As in, one of the needs was, of course, a basic mountaineering course. I went into an advanced mountaineering after that. We have 5 such institutes across India that conduct these courses. When I set out, say, Everest, and I stood across the mountain, and I said 2017, I had no clue what it involved. All I knew was I was standing in front of Everest and saying I want to climb. Came back and started looking, saying what does that really involve? But then, like you always say, when you put out an intent and you really want to do something, the universe always conspires and brings the right people. So 2013, when I put that intent out, and 2014, a friend of mine, he's a friend now, he wasn't then, I didn't know him then, and he had summited Everest from the north side, and someone introduced me to him. And I told him, I want to climb Everest. Today I can understand what he must have gone through because I'm meeting people like that every day. Any person that I meet on the streets these days, and someone says, oh, she's Aparna and she's gone up Everest, and this person says, I also want to go up Everest. I'm like, yes, more power to you, okay? It doesn't happen that way. It's not all that easy. I even had someone ask me, saying, is it easy? Well, I don't know how to answer that, okay? But a lot of training, yes. The last 4 years of systematic planning, I think I have close to 200 plus books. I've read Everest, I've lived Everest. In terms of actual training has probably been the last 3 months, but my 3 months as in 3 months before I left. My running, my cycling have been part of that. So I knew 11 hours is what it takes as a summit push. So I built myself to be able to keep myself on my feet for 11 hours. And that's how I ran 75 kilometers last year in November. Non-stop 11 hours to keep the cardio run going. I cycled from Pune to Goa. Crazy, but I cycled from Pune to Goa as part of the Naked Cliffhanger. That's a 648 kilometer race. And we had 31 hours to finish it, and we could actually finish it with 20 minutes to spare. So that's been the preparation part of it. But the last 3 months before I left, I was doing about 6 hours every day. And 6 hours that included on everyday basis 2,200 steps. I would go up, a friend of mine that's on the 10th floor, I would go up and down with a 30 kg backpack, 1.5 kilos weight on my legs, and 2,200 stairs. After that, I would run 5 kilometers. Then I would alternate days come to Vital Tekri and Deccan. I live at Bagoli, by the way. But I would come to Vital Tekri in the morning. I would go up and down Vital Tekri. Evenings, if I couldn't do that in the morning, evening would be Vital Tekri once a week. It would be Parvati once a week. And near Yeroda, there's a hill called Tatkeshwar, so I would do that once a week. So alternate days. So essentially those. And then Sivakat would happen on Saturdays with my backpack on the Ghat road 2 times, up and down and up again and down, in addition to all of this. So 6 hours every day, and I work. So the days that I would have work, the workshop began at, let's say, 9 o'clock, my day would begin at 2 in the morning. 2, I would be out of the house. So I would wake up at 1, 2, I would be out of the house, work out for 6 hours till 8 o'clock, come back, get ready, and go to my work, which was 9 to 5 probably, and then come back. So that's the training. Absolutely. पूरी कायनात आपको उससे मिलाने की कोशिश करती है, which is so true. which is so true. I've seen that happen. In the process, of course, my friends have forgotten me. They don't know how I look. I don't know how they look. But that's all I do all the time. That's been before I reached there. It's 3 whole months. I ran the mobile marathon on the 15th of January. 16th, I left for Leh. And from there on till I left for my expedition on the 4th of April, this was my routine every single day.
Wow. Ma'am, we have heard a lot of people say that the climb becomes more difficult as you ascend due to temperature fluctuations and blizzards. Which was the most difficult part of the climb for you?
I think in terms of the climb, the difficult part, very honestly, was much lower. From when we reached from base camp, we moved to something called advanced camp. In the middle, we have something called an interim camp. And interim camp to advanced camp, probably since you are from Pune and Maharashtra, you've heard of the KHS, the Kargil to Srinagar trek. And that's, 11 kilometers, 16 hill kind of a climb. This was 9.5 kilometers and 67 hills. You just kept going up and down. That was one part that was difficult. But yes, as you climb up, oxygen becomes rarer. And the camp 2 was the toughest journey for me because when we reached camp 2, the weather had gone back. And when you say weather's gone back, the winds have increased. You're talking about winds at 65 and 70 kilometers per hour speeds. And in that, all our tents were destroyed. So we reached and there were no tents. We had to stay in an abandoned tent, sit up all night. And the worst part, I think, was morning when I stepped out. Just 6 feet away from my tent, there was an Australian climber who had died. A Swedish climber who had died in the night. He probably called for help, but we hadn't heard. And I think that from there on, climbing became a big challenge because if someone as strong as him was an alpine climber could die, after that, every step I kept asking myself, oh my God, what am I doing?
Wow, that was really brave. But Sanya, you know what? Adventure can be found in our classrooms too.
Classrooms?
Yes, of course. Have you ever experienced the adventure on the backbench? I don't think so you have. Amit and Ekta will take you through this adventure.
Presenting before you, stand-up comedy. मैं और मेरा बैकबेंच अक्सर ये बातें करते थे कि तुम ना होते तो मेरा क्या होता, मुझे टीचर से कौन बचाता, हिस्ट्री के पीरियड में मैं ज्योग्राफी कैसे कंप्लीट करती, पीरियड के बीच में टिफिन कैसे खाती, और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात, पीरियड के बीच में आरामदायक नींद कैसे ले पाती। इसलिए बैकबेंच, तू ना होता तो मेरा क्या होता।
ये लो, तुमने बुलाया और हम चले आए।
अरे यार, शैतान का नाम लिया और ये बैकबेंच हाजिर।
मेरे बारे में क्या बातें हो रही है?
बस ज्यादा कुछ नहीं, तुम्हें तो चने के पेड़ पर चढ़ा रही थी।
हाँ, ज्यादा तारीफ करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। तुम्हें पता है मैं स्कूल में कितना जुल्म सहन करता हूँ। स्कूल में बच्चों ने तो मुझे च्युइंगम की दुकान ही बनाकर रख दिया है। पहले चबा, फिर चिपका कर फिर से चबा।
अरे ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, हम तो तुम्हारी बहुत इज्जत करते हैं।
हाँ, जोक मत कर। लोगों ने तो मुझे नोटबुक ही बना दिया है। कुछ भी अनशर्ट लिखते रहते हैं, अपने बीएफएफ्स के नाम लिखते रहते हैं, कैलकुलेशंस और क्या क्या करते रहते हैं।
नहीं भाई, तुम तो हमारे दोस्त हो, हमारे साथी हो। तुम वो हो जो कुछ बच्चों को स्कूल में आने की प्रेरणा देता है, और तुम ही वो हो जो कुछ बच्चों को टीचर्स के पीठ पीछे अतरंगी कारनामे करने का साहस देता है।
वैसे तारीफ के लिए शुक्रिया, पर तुम्हें पता है हर साल कुछ ना कुछ लव स्टोरी के किस्से मेरे पे छप भी जाते हैं। वैसे तारीफ के लिए शुक्रिया, पर तुम्हें पता है हर साल कुछ ना कुछ लव स्टोरी के किस्से मेरे पे छप ही जाते हैं विद डायग्राम्स। हर साल कोई ना कोई ऐसा होता ही है जो मेरे पे पप्पू लव पिंकी लिख कर चला जाता है। कौन पप्पू, कौन पिंकी, भगवान ही जाने।
अरे अरे पर बैक बेंच, तुम्हें पता है क्लास में फर्स्ट बेंचर्स तब तक ही होशियारी दिखा सकते हैं जब तक क्वेश्चन आंसर्स के दंगल में बैक बेंचर्स हिस्सा न ले, इसलिए बैक बेंचर्स रॉक, ओके?
चलो चलो, अब मैं निकलता हूँ, स्कूल शुरू हो गई है, मेरे दोस्त मेरा इंतजार कर रहे होंगे। You don't forget to write your new experience on me today.
So goodbye to all of you and keep listening to BuzzKHS 26.6.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was hilarious. Moving on. Now I've read that about 26,000 feet is a red zone. So there are dead bodies there.
Yes, so the death zone is not called death zone because there are dead bodies. The death zone is because that's the likely place that you will die. It's also because from there on, your body starts consuming itself. As in, your muscles start sort of dying out on you. Your body needs energy and it draws it from itself. So no amount of food or energy that you will externally add is going to be of any help. The body will start consuming itself for the warmth, for the energy that it requires. And hence it's called a dead zone. But yes, this year because the weather changed, we had 13 dead bodies along the way. I spotted 9 of them. I didn't really want to see them, but there were 9 of them, excluding the death that happened at Camp 2. But there were 9 bodies that I crossed over or saw as I went out. Yes, and they are from the Camp 2 onwards.
So how did you feel when you were in the dead zone? When you could see all those dead bodies?
So, interestingly, because the temperatures are so low, at the time that we summited, we were eventually at about -56. It was a warm day, and we were looking at -56. So the temperatures vary from base camp. It's quite warm. Evenings are at about -6 or -7. But as you keep moving up, the temperatures keep dipping, and in that it preserves the body because there's no oxygen. So these people look alive. These people look like what you and I would look. The hair is probably missing, the clothes there, because I'm talking about bodies that are 20 years old, perhaps some of them could be 25 years old on the mountain. And yet they are there looking absolutely intact. At night, when we push for summit, because you always go for summit at night. So when you go up at night, you have a head torch and you walk. And in that, you don't see much, but there are places where you cross over a body that's in your path because you have only 18 inches to walk over. And you kind of say, please, excuse me, forgive me, whatever, and you walk past. But in the daytime, when you return, these are absolutely fresh. And I've been saying this, they are like, they look as fresh as daisies, really. They will talk to you any minute. And if somebody's dead with the eyes shut, then they're dead and the eyes are shut. But if somebody's dying with his eyes open and the eyes are still open, then the person's probably ready to hold a conversation with you. So it's quite spooky. But I guess you put those thoughts aside. Personally, I'm not scared of the dead. I'm more scared of living people. I think they can cause more damage. The dead don't do anything. They're gone. They only wish you well.
Wow, I'm really having goosebumps here.
It is a little scary, yes. That's right. That's right. But I think that's what you mentally prepare for. When you know it's going to happen, so you're mentally preparing for that. Also, the Sherpas, very honestly, have a nice sense of humor with this. They mark, so they use these, they don't move the bodies because it's sacred and they don't touch the bodies. Also, as a mountaineer, I mean, that's something I told my family. If I died on the mountain, don't bring me back. I would want to be left there. But the Sherpas use these bodies as markers. So it's interesting, and they don't know the names, obviously. These foreigners, they can't pronounce the names. So there's this particular body this year that got unnerved because of the weather. And that gentleman who fell down was sort of hunched over, like you would if you were typing something on a keyboard. So they called him the computer wala. And then the Sherpas called him the computer wala. And then they asked me, Didi, computer wala dekho? Did you see the computer wala? And I'm like, I don't want to see computer wala. Are Didi, dekh lena, there are 3 cylinders kept next to the computer wala. Okay, those are the markings. So 2 cylinders near computer wala, 5 cylinders near the Gori name. That's how they describe these bodies, and these bodies become markers on the mountains, so they don't move them as a result.
And so we were reading about it, and I came across that you climbing Mount Everest was a tribute to your father.
Yes.
Could you tell us something about that?
So tribute, as in actually 2017, I decided because it's their 50th wedding anniversary, and this is my little gift to them. But the Nepal side, instead of that, which is more common, people go more from Nepal, I chose the China, the Tibet side, A, because it's technical, so it's considered tougher, and B, because it's an extension of the Siachen Glacier. My father, who's from the armed forces, has served a very large part of his life in the Siachen Glacier. And this was an attempt to try and see what he must have gone through. For me, it was a 2-month journey. For him, it's been close to 8 to 10 years of being in that region. And this was an attempt to understand what he must have put in to not just bring us children up, but what he and the countless army men do for the rest of us who sit here in the comfort of our homes. And hence a tribute not just to my father, but the entire Indian Armed Forces.
Wow.
It's been very, very special. This year has been special.
Moving on, Sanji, I recently saw the movie Puna. You know, she was only 13 when she scared on her.
Yeah, okay. Revati, the stand-up segment is over, so you can stop joking.
But I'm not joking, I'm serious.
Seriously? You mean 13? Like 1 3, 13?
Yes.
Like 10 plus 3, 13? 13?
Yes, 13. You don't believe me?
Of course, I don't.
Fine. We have Pranjal to convince all of you. So moving on to our next section, Buzzy B review.
Purna, this movie focuses on the life of a teenager from a village in Telangana who became the youngest girl ever to climb Mount Everest. This film is directed by Rahul Bose with Aditi Inamdar as the lead actor along with other supporting actors. Purna, this movie focuses on a girl, Purna Malawar, who was 13 years old when she became the youngest girl ever to scale Mount Everest. This film is not only a movie of human ambition, but also a story of friendship between Purna and her sister. Thus, the film is a total package of joy, grief, and inspiration. Rahul Bose has manipulatively handled the details of Purna's life and displayed them beautifully in the movie. This is an extremely inspirational film. It was released in the month of May, and I suggest you that you should definitely watch it. It is available on YouTube. We give 4 Buzzy Bees to the movie Purna on BuzzKHS 26.6. Thank you.
जब तक जिंदगी खत्म न हो मेरी मंजिल तय होगी नहीं अगर चांद पे पैरों की दिशा हो तो आसमां मेरे लिए सीमा नहीं On that note, man, we would like to ask you, how did you feel when you finally reached the top? Like, did you feel like shouting your victory to the world?
You know, I would have loved to shout my victory and I had no energy to really shout out. And also the oxygen mask prevents you from doing anything. However, I think I reached earlier than expected. So it was pitch dark I reached at 10 minutes past 4 in the morning. And the first thing, which is sort of protocol, is you're required to call your base and say you've reached. So which is what happened, that we called, the base was extremely surprising. Are you really there? And I said yes, because they weren't expecting me up there before 6 o'clock. I was there at about 10 past 4, like I said. Couldn't see much at that minute. What I did do was go down on my knees and I touched my forehead to the mountain and I said, thank you. I straightened up, and I think I'm God's sort of selected child or blessed one, because as I stood up, the sun came up. And it was, I think, one of the most beautiful sights I have ever seen in my life. I'm blessed to be sighted. I'm blessed that I could see that particular sight. Because that's when the whole place became clear for me to look at. The sun coming up, every single peak was below me. There were clouds that were below me. And that's when that feeling of on top of the world truly became real. You realize what it meant to be on top of the world. Everything was right there. Sort of, you could feel higher because you were higher. It was like that. And also from the north side, the advantage is you can see the mountaineers from the south side come up. And that gives you a sense of, oh, I am already at the top. So that's something that was truly, truly beautiful. Of course, the next feeling was, oh my God, I have to go down again. And that hit far sooner. The joy of being up there didn't last for too long. But I did enjoy it while I could. I wish I had the energy to probably connect and talk to the world at that time, but we didn't have that luxury. The only luxury I had was to take the walkie-talkie and to inform base camp that I had reached. Then, of course, once I got back to advanced camp, I called up home on a satellite phone and I spoke with my father, and I said I had made it to the top. He heard it, of course, much before that, because I arrived only at about 9 o'clock at night at advanced camp. I had to wait for those 12 whole hours before I could speak to anybody from home. But that was something that I could do. He heard the news by 4:15. They had called him up and informed him. But for me to be able to speak to family took another 12 odd hours at least.
Wow. So you said that you wanted to talk to the world. So if given a chance, what would you say?
I think if given a chance, the first thing I would say would be thank you. Really, thank you for, it's not, I just walked. It was my legs that took me up. But it was everybody else, the wishes, the prayers, the blessings, the thoughts of everyone around me that took me up. So if I did have a chance, I would probably say thank you. Also, I think something that I must share with you here, it is a sense of huge pride, because this year the weather was bad and we weren't sure how we would summit. Nepal always summits first, Nepal side summits first. But this year with bad weather, even Nepal no one was coming up the mountain. And our team took up the responsibility of opening the route, which is why the first time in the history of Everest, this year, the tricolor was the first flag on Everest. And in the history since the first time that Edmund Hillary and Tenzing went up Everest, the first time that the tricolor was the first flag on Everest this year.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So, how was the celebration when you came back home?
Oh, when I came back, I think so I had to stop in Delhi, and I did stop for a night in Delhi, and then I arrived here. My running community was there, my family was there, my friends were there, my children were there, and so everybody was at the airport to greet me. They had organized some Dhol Tasha, and we had a lot of dancing around. My parents, of course, were there. It was a good sense, not just for me, but I think it's a sense of pride as a country. It's a sense of pride as Maharashtra as a state. It's a sense of pride as a woman that you could. Someone who's from the ordinary. I'm not different. I'm not a sports person. I'm not an athlete. I'm an ordinary woman. I have my family responsibilities. I have my work responsibilities. And from that, to be able to go and make a success of what I had intended something that in 2013 I set out saying 2017 summer, and I could do that. So everyone was there, I think, was a part of that journey. And it's amazing. I didn't know this, I didn't believe this, but when my friends who were managing that, Aparna at this page, told me that there were close to 50,000 views of that time that I submitted, was unbelievable. And I've connected out to those many people. There were some 50,000 plus likes for that post that went up that said, I have submitted on the 22nd of May. So I think it's you. I think it's you.
Now, in today's techno-savvy world, adventure is taken a backseat. So, how can we get the fit among youngsters?
I think that's a very valid point. It bothers me when I see children with iPads and children with gadgets with them all the time. We need to get out there. I think it's, as a parent, I will say, it's our responsibility. Of course, having said that, my children have a block answers. What age did you start? We will start then. So I keep telling other children, saying, please don't listen to my children, learn out there. So from my end, what am I doing different from this year? I'm starting off a 3-camp program where I want to invite children from the age group of 8 to 12. And I plan to hold 3 camps over 3 semesters of school. We will have them outbound. We're going to try and keep it at cost level so that parents involve themselves, teachers involved, so that you don't have to spend money and yet get children out into the outdoor. And that's where I'm hoping that we encourage not just mountains, but animals, nature, plants, the rivers. So we're going to plan different activities in this part of this 3 workshop program. And at the end, have a nice little sort of medal for the kids to take back, saying, I'm an environment or a nature person or some such title. We're going to figure that one out. I haven't decided that yet. But I will be soon putting up all the details on Facebook for people to be able to see that. But if we just take that message back, saying the universe gives us, and we must give back to the universe. If we don't do that, and technology is not giving back to the universe, technology is giving back to us. When I use an iPad, I'm giving back to myself. How could I use that iPad to put back to the universe? If we need to think of that one. And you kids are very smart. I think just look at what you put together with this program today. If you apply that a little more and said, I'm going to, I see parents come in and parents who drop children, you jump traffic lights. If you say, if you as children tell your parents, let's not do this, mom and dad, I think that's a huge one. You're going to contribute. Could I, if as a school, make sure I maybe adopt a few stray dogs and look at how can I vaccinate them? It's a possibility. Could I pick up a few plants and trees around my school? Not inside my school, but around my school. And say, okay, class 10 takes on these 3, little trees outside my school. And that could be, you don't have to all go and plant. Could we at least look after ones that are planted already? Yes.
So our school is managing traffic very efficiently because we had SRSI campaign.
I know, I am aware of your SRSI campaign, so I think it's brilliant. And the reason I'm saying this again is it's not just your school. I think I would like this to go across to every other school. We can't just have, one model school, and I see that happening here. I think if the other schools pick up from you, that would be fantastic. With my running community, we manage traffic in the area that I live in. We contribute an hour to traffic in the evenings. All of us, in spite of our work, we take turns and we manage it. And I think that's something that, it's just giving back to the universe that makes us who we are. Yes. So I'm sure you guys are proud of your initiative that we put together.
Yes. Even after listening to so many thrilling stories by man, I am feeling like doing something adventurous.
Wait, hold on. Don't get carried away, sir. We have school assignments. And how can you forget? Exams.
Well, that's true. We don't get enough time. But we have a song that would take us far away.
So science and music. We are back with
Naya Naya.
With Mumbai and Sanika as singers.
Jay, Mancham and Gauram as singers.
Prathamesh on the flute.
घबरा मत घबरा।
And parts are synthesizer.
सुमो मी सांगितलेलं
टेबल खोलू का टेबल खोल घ्या ना
कान खरंच तृप्त झाले.
I'd say, what is the most important book that we bring to school every day? Let it be exams, half day, or full day.
This school diary?
For it change your life.
But what about it?
We hardly take time to read it. So we have a fun way to inform all of you about the importance of a school diary. स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या? है क्या? स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या? है क्या? KHS की डायरी कितनी भारी भारी, KHS की माहिती है सारी सारी, प्रिंसिपल और ट्रस्टी अपने कौन ऑफिस का क्या है अपना फोन। स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या? है क्या?
Which uniform should we wear? याद करो
अपने प्रेयर्स रोज लिखो इसमें होमवर्क साइन लाना है तुम्हारा और वर्क स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या Fees और एग्जाम के schedule डिसिप्लिन का मेंशन इसमें हर रूल फॉलो करो तो यू कैन कीप कूल वरना हो जाओगे अड़सूल स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या विदेश के फेस्टिवल इसमें मेंशन अपने देश से खोजो कनेक्शन देखो हर महीने का इंटेंशन प्लान करो लाइन ऑफ एक्शन स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या टीचर से लिखता है इसमें नोट पेरेंट्स में लिखता है इसमें लीव नोट हाउस के इसमें फोटोज एक्टिविटीज के इसमें फोटोज स्टूडेंट्स तुम्हें डायरी का इम्पोर्टेंस है क्या डायरी है अपना मिरर खो जाओ तो यह है पाथ फाइंडर साथ रखो दोस्तों इसे हरदम डायरी इज हेल्पफुल टू everyone स्टूडेंट्स
Ma'am, it is coming towards the end of the show. We would like to thank the director, counselor, and teacher of City Degree School, the teacher of TSK School, Hari, and Radhika Sharma ma'am from Kannada Sangha for being with us today. He will be with us today.
I think it's a beautiful platform that you guys have. Thank you once again for inviting me. Thank you for making me feel comfortable. I was extremely nervous. I don't know what I've answered. I'm impressed with the kind of preparation that you guys have put together. Sahil attempting to reach out, you have been traveling for work, and he's diligently been at it. The only hassle was he would send me these mails late night, and I'm thinking, why is this kid awake this late at night? Because I personally sleep early, and I would respond to him at about 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and he'd be, still up there, and I'm wondering, my God, does he ever sleep? So, hats off to the effort that you people have put in. I think I had a lovely time, and genuinely thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was really an honor to have you on our show today and to get the privilege to interact with you. We are truly very lucky.
Our journey terminates here. So keep listening to Buzz KHS 26.6.
आज का दिन हमारा,
आज की आवाज हमारी.
Signing off. This is RJ Archit.
This is RJ Sanya.
This is RJ Revati.
And this is RJ Sandeep. And you're listening to Buzz KHS 26.6.
आज का दिन हमारा, आज की आवाज हमारी.
Very good.
बैठो तू बैठो हाँ तू बैठो